Olá, eu sou a Solange Mel. Sejam bem-vindos ao podcast Dança em Diálogos, um espaço dedicado ao diálogo entre a criação artística e a performance, onde a dança e a coreografia encontram novas formas de comunicar. Estejam preparados para explorar novas perspectivas sobre a dança, descobrir intérpretes, criadores, corpos, ideias em movimento. E diálogos, claro. Neste episódio especial do Dança em Diálogos, gravado ao vivo no Auditório Jorge Sampaio, no Centro Cultural Olga Cadaval, no evento de encerramento das celebrações do Mês da Dança em Sintra 2025, conversámos com Steven McRae, uma figura incontornável da dança internacionalmente. A conversa aconteceu após o visionamento do documentário A Resilient Man, de Stephane Carell, documentário que apresenta o testemunho poderoso do caminho de Steven McRae através da lesão, recuperação e regresso aos palcos do Royal Ballet. Falámos sobre a origem do documentário, sobre o mundo da dança e do papel dos modelos de referência. Falámos principalmente de recuperação física, da importância da saúde mental e do relevo que as equipas de recuperação de lesões, numa perspectiva global e integrada, têm nas carreiras dos bailarinos, de igual forma da que têm dos atletas de alta competição. E porque a conversa se queria aberta a todas e a todos, ouvimos as perguntas que foram colocadas a Steven McRae pelos presentes e, claro, ouvimos com grande inspiração as suas respostas e visão.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Steven. It's very also emotional for us to see, and I imagine for you as well. Thank you, everybody, also for watching. I think this is a very special film, and I'm very happy that we managed to bring the film and you along. So, I'm not sure everybody here knows that we have a podcast. It's called Dança em Diálogos. So I also hope you all follow it and listen to it. And so we're recording this for that as well. So before we start our questions, I am going to introduce Steve for our listeners. Everybody here already knows him. So thank you, first of all. I cannot say thank you enough. You know, I will do that all the time. Steven, today we welcome not just a dancer, but a force of resilience and brilliance. Born and raised in Sydney, Australia, your journey began in a dance school far from the spotlight of Covent Garden. But even then, something in your movement stood out. Precise, fiery, fearless. After winning the gold medal at 2002 Junior International Ballet Competition held in Australia, and later the prestigious Prix de Lausanne in 2003, you joined the Royal Ballet School. Graduating in 2004, you entered Royal Ballet, a most desired achievement, quickly rising through the ranks and becoming a principal dancer in 2009. Since then, you've dazzled audience with your explosive virtuosity and dramatic range, working with great choreographers and inhabiting roles like Romeo, the Mad Hatter, Police Foreman, just to name a few, with equal intensity. You also hold a BA in Business Management and Leadership, played Skim the Railroad Cat in Cats the movie. Equally powerfully, you've inspired people off stage with your courage to share what happened when the body breaks down and the will to dance is tested. In 2018, a catastrophic Achilles tendon injury could have ended your career, but instead it became the beginning of another kind of journey, one of rebuilding, reflection, and return. Through that experience, and by also sharing now with us the documentary A Resilient Man, or Dancing into the Light as it is in the UK, you've reminded us that true artistry isn't just about perfection, it's about persistence. Your story reached even more people through this documentary, which offers a powerful portrait of your journey through injury, recovery, and return. So let's talk about how all this came to life. My first question, which I will open also questions for everybody in the audience, but I will start with this. This is such a private thing, and it takes a lot of courage also to share this private moment. This moment is not just the up but the down. So how did this happen? How did you decide that it was important to share this chapter of your life?
So I think all of us, we have passions, we have dreams, we all work hard at whatever it is we do. I'm a dancer, my father an auto electrician, my mother the best mother. We all work hard at what we do, but things happen. And for example, my life as a dancer, I fell in love with it young. You see me like a crazy person, young. Then you fight and you sacrifice so much. I moved away from my family very young, and it made me ill.
Yeah.
But my passion for what I wanted to do was even stronger than the pain it was causing. So then you fight through that and you find a way. But then you have something like this, where most people say, that's it, it's finished. No. You don't get to decide when I'm finished. I decide. Even my body was saying, no, you're finished, stop. No. When you fight for something so much, you then fight even harder to hold on to it. And so I wanted to show that. I wanted to show that it's not easy. Many people think, you principal with Royal Ballet. You have wonderful life, it's so easy. Yeah, I have wonderful life. It's incredible. But I have to fight so hard for it. So I wanted to show that, but also to say that it's okay. No one's asking me to do this. I wanted to do it. So I also wanted to show the younger generation that these things in life will happen. It happened again to me. 2 years ago, my knee on stage went after this, and then the knee happened. That's life. Things happen, but it's how you deal with it. So the film was very much focused on that. I wanted to show you have a choice, and the big part of the film is that the Royal Ballet, we have a very good medical team.
Yes, we could see that.
And I've wanted to do the film so that the whole dance world sits up and says, okay, how do we do this for every dancer? Now, every company, every company cannot do it, of course, but we can share. There are ways we can have resources shared across Europe, Asia, America. There are ways to do it. It's just having the open eyes to collaborate, to find a way. This level of care has to be normal.
Yeah, but it's not.
No, but we have to start somewhere,
Yes.
and this is what the film highlights.
It surprises me because you were in such a down moment, and this is why I say thank you all the time as well. It's because you were living this thing that was hard for you, for your family, but still you thought, how can I make something positive out of it? Because this is very important, And so thank you for being able to even not only sharing the process and how it should be, but also to be able to come out of your effort and your pain and have this idea, because this was your idea, right?
Definitely, but I think it was also important. I want my children to know that it's a beautiful thing to be vulnerable. You don't have to be a superhero and think that everything's fine all the time, because that's not life. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, to be open to, okay, I'm not perfect, I don't have all the answers, your whole world opens up. You take that pressure off yourself. I'm far from perfect, and
Yes.
I want my children to see that vulnerability.
This was also one of my questions,
beautiful.
like if this was, having this for your children was also an important part of the whole, because they lived it, maybe they didn't realize half of what was happening, but they will eventually, once they see the film one day, and they'll have another perspective and be very, very proud of you and of Lizzie, of course. So as I said, I was only going to ask one more question. My question is precisely about mental health. And I heard you speaking today to the students today. And now you make sure that you would speak about that. And also in the movie, you speak with the Royal Ballet students, Royal Ballet School students, right? About it. So I know you play this role now. Like if you think that, well, I know that you are a role model. And if, well, you are. In the sense that people look at you and see what you see and obviously inspired by what you project. So how much more work you think that role models should do to bring this awareness, because the ballet world is a very tricky world. It can be one of happiness and of achievements, but it can be one of depression and of anxiety, of denial, of not liking yourself. So how do you believe that people should engage more, like in my role models, I mean like dancers like you know, with this kind of level and projection, because you also use the social media a lot, and that's something great. So do you think this is also a part of why you're engaging, so that more people do this work?
Definitely. I think the more that people can be honest about the situation. Some of the dancers you will all look up to and aspire to, they are feeling and experiencing the same things that you are experiencing. They doubt themselves, they don't like what they see, they're critiquing themselves all the time. But in life, everybody has this natural way of saying, I'm fine, everything's fine. And only, maybe social media, only sharing the good things. And when I had the Achilles, and I decided, okay, I'm going to share it because it might help somebody at this point. It was really beautiful because I started to use it a little bit like a diary. And instead of just, look, nice show and this was fun, blah, blah, blah. Look, this is scary. I have to now do this, I have to walk. I don't know if I can do it. And it was very nice because it provided an opportunity for other people to maybe share something that they were scared about or worried about. And that was just being open and honest about it. It's very easy just to only talk about the good things.
Yeah, and you said something that I really appreciate, and I hope they take to them, is that we're only human. You know, we're not all just superheroes or pretending to be superheroes. Sometimes it looks like we are, well, you are, but you're not, you know, you're also a person, and you know, also with a very happy family that we love to have around and to see. So as this is not just about me asking questions, I will, as promised, pass the microphone to see if anyone has a question. I can see how many people have questions, because that's really helpful, just like as a time management. 1, 2, because Steven also has to go to the airport. 1, 2, 3, 4, obrigada, Afonso, 5. Anyone else? 6? More? 7? 8? Okay, good. I'm excited about that, because in the morning it was a bit like, please say something. So who wants to start? Who has the mics? There? Okay, go ahead. You can do it in Portuguese if you feel more comfortable, and then I'll translate.
Okay. Can you hear me? So I'm a Pilates teacher and I work with young dancers, and one of the issues that I have with them is to get them to understand that the ego has to be set aside and the small muscles have to be worked on. I was very happy to see that you were doing Pilates as part of your recovery. My question to you is, you do so much now to prepare your body to dance. Had you told your younger self all of the things that you were doing or should be doing, would you have listened?
Yeah, so the lady that I was doing Pilates with, Jane Paris, I've done Pilates with her since the day I joined the company. So since I was 18 years old, I've been doing Pilates. Before that, if you said Pilates, I would have said, what is that? I said, what do you mean, do this with your foot? I said, you're crazy, I want to do double cabriole. The mentality is changing. Now that we have sports science as well, so my team is sports science, Pilates, psychology, it's everything. Sometimes the psychologist is in Pilates, or sometimes the psychologist is doing things for me so that when I'm in the gym squatting, I have her in my head. It's one thing. Everything is there to help the dancer. So the mentality has changed because the training in the UK now, the Royal Ballet School, for example, they start the sports science stuff from a young age. And it's there to help you. It's not to change ballet. It's not to interfere with ballet. It's to make you a healthier instrument. So the Pilates has always been there. I wish I had access to this kind of work from a young age. And if there are young people here, and if your teacher says, let's look at doing a bit of this, Pilates or sports science, working with the coach, please just be open to it. It's your vehicle. And if you look at every Olympian, they do not just train their sport. I work with Olympic swimmers in Pilates, gold medalist swimmers laying next to me doing Pilates. It's not new. Sport has always used multiple disciplines. We have to do the same in dance.
Yeah, I love also what you said, like that we are athletes. Artists are also athletes. And this is something that also we have to connect more, right? Because we just see the artistry and we forget about the physicality, that it's exactly as the money or more, because you work more days during the week and perform more than they have championships. So thank you. Anyone else? Mike? Okay, there we go.
Hello, Steven. I've been following you for a long time. You've always been an idol for me, because I'm a dancer, both in dance and in life. I'd like to ask you two questions. First, I would like to know what was, in your opinion, the best moment of your life or career as a dancer, and if there isn't a problem, I'd like to know if you've ever heard you are not good enough, and if so, how you overcame it. Thank you.
If you ever heard you are not good enough, and how did you do it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes you read reviews from a critic saying it was the worst thing they've ever seen. You think, okay, thank you. There's always somebody that will say it was terrible. But the next person will say, it was the best thing I've ever seen. And that is the difference between an artist and an athlete. Because as an athlete, you cross the line first, you win.
No doubt about that.
No one can say anything about it. But in art, you can be the worst, you can be the best on the same day. Because it's people's opinion. So my advice to you is forget about people's opinion. It doesn't matter. Because you're never going to please everybody. Even these words I'm saying now, half the audience will say, yeah, and half will say, oh, he's talking rubbish. That's life. And then the first part of the question, honestly, when I've been performing and my children watching in the wings, side stage, that for me, that's the best. Thank you.
Yeah. Next. Someone wants to be next? It's close.
Hi, Steven. Thank you so much for the beautiful movie. And I would love to know if while you were injured, did you feel like your co-workers, they sort of took a bit of distance? Because I had the same experience when I got injured. I was dancing with the Paul Taylor Dance Company and I had to completely stop dancing because I needed a hip replacement. And I used to think that all my co-workers really loved me and they would come visit or ask me to go to the movies since I couldn't dance. But no, it was complete silence, and I wanted to think if maybe you had some similar experiences, because it's so painful and nobody talks about it. It's almost as if when you get injured, people are even afraid that that's contagious, that you will give some kind of injury to them. So I just wanted to know.
Yeah, definitely. When my Achilles snapped, I had a card, big card, signed by the entire orchestra. So 70 names, because they were in the orchestra and they heard. And then they heard me. They sent me a card, 70 signatures. But the dancers, except for maybe 3 or 4 that I'm very close to, you see them in the film. And I got angry at that, because I thought the same. But my friend Federico in the film, he said, but you have to also remember, it was a traumatic experience for you, but it was also very traumatic for all of them, because they had to listen to you. They were watching side stage, or they were in the dressing room with the noise through the speakers of me screaming. And of course, it's selfish, but they automatically think, that could be me. And we all think that. But I hadn't thought that way, because of course I was like, I'm the one injured, like, oh. And he said, yeah, of course, maybe they should send you a message, or, you know. At the time, my children were 4, 2, and a baby. No one called my wife to say, do you guys need some help? Like, can we come cook one meal or something? No one, nothing. That would have been nice. But when he explained to me, look, it's also a horrible experience for all of them, it made me relax and change. And I thought, actually, he's right. It's true. So I think injury has always been something people are scared of. But I want this film to say, injuries happen. It's going to happen. And it's going to happen more, because we're pushing the body more and more and more. We're performing more and more and more. You guys are all training like crazy amounts, way too much. So of course you're going to get injured. So we have to learn, okay, injury is part of the profession. So it's not, you're injured, you're useless. It's just, okay, you're injured, that's the phase you're in right now. You'll be rehearsing and performing in 1 month, 6 months, 1 year. It's part of it, that's what I'm saying.
I also, sorry, if I can comment, I just really think people cannot cope with how to react to that kind of trauma. I'm not excusing anyone, but I just, also Leanne, she says, like, I needed therapy after that, you know, and I believe that also some people just really didn't know how to cope, and I'm sure it would have been nice, but...
And it's the same, we all do it. If somebody has been ill or injured, and you see them, the first thing you say is, oh, how are you? I would go crazy. Stop, because that's all people would ask me. Yeah. How's the Achilles? How is... It's broken.
It's not here. No, and also that, like, someone would want to ask you maybe a normal question, but at the same time feeling weird if they would just, let's go to the cinema. No, like, it just, everybody, this is good for that. And this is also good that you're saying that, so that people know they can just be normal also, and needed to be normal. Thank you. Next.
Hi, thank you ever again for coming to Portugal. It's such a pleasure to meet you in person finally, because I'm a medical doctor that works with dancers, and sometimes I give lectures to med students, physiotherapists, students, and I always mention your rehabilitation journey. So thank you ever again. And I have two questions. So you have had the Achilles snap and later the ACL rupture. Comparing both rehabilitation processes, which one was more challenging to you? So this is the first question. And the second question is, where does such optimism comes from? Because you're such an optimist and enduring both two scary injuries, and you never lose this strength and motivation. What do you think helps? It's working with a team, it's setting up very clear goals. What is it? Thank you.
So the first question is the Achilles reconstruction or the knee reconstruction easier. The Achilles was much harder. The knee reconstruction is ongoing. It's still very early. I'm performing, but I have to listen to the medical advice and find my way. But the Achilles, I mean, it took a year just to walk. That's crazy. I mean, a year after the knee, I was already on the opera house stage, bouncing around. So very different. I can't say one was easier or harder, but the Achilles was very complicated, and it had COVID as well in the middle of it. It couldn't have treatment. My children were very young, very, very young. There were just so many different elements. The optimism, I think again it goes back to what you fight for. No one was handing me this career. I arrived completely blind to what I was getting into. And I think when you fight for something, you fight harder to hold on to it. Then add on to that my family. If I'm not there to support them, who is? And that people don't like to talk about the reality of the job. But okay, I'm an artist, I do what I love to do, but it's actually my job now. And so the reality is I want them to eat and be warm, and that's the reality. So people don't like to hear that though, because it ruins the fantasy of this dream situation, but it's still a job.
As you say, we're human, right? Yeah, so we need jobs as well. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, there's more.
Hi, Steven. Congratulations on your journey, and thank you very deeply for this sharing. I do not belong to the dancing universe. My field of expertise is emotional intelligence, and I would like to ask you about what your mental health taught you in the worst days you had and the best days you had so far.
Well, honestly, when you really think this is the worst it can be, there's always somebody who has it worse. Always, The high moments, it's like justifying the blood, the sweat, the tears, the sacrifices. And sometimes I think the highs don't feel as high as you imagine them to be when you've had to fight so much to feel that again. And that's okay. I think we set ourselves up with these unrealistic expectations that when something's good, it's gonna make you feel like this. But then when it happens and you only feel maybe here, you instantly are disappointed. But it's still a high, it's still a good thing, it's a wonderful moment, but you've set it up to be up here. And I used to spend most of my career doing that, thinking that every performance I had to come off stage feeling, and I was nowhere near feeling this. I was like here all the time because I'd set such ridiculous expectations. So I think that was probably some of the lessons learned through this process. Also, my wife has always tried to encourage me to celebrate even the small wins. I was not interested. I was always, what's next, what's next, what's next? I should have achieved this, I should have achieved this. And I think I've got much better now at acknowledging, okay, today was a really good day. No one might notice why it was a good day, but for me it was a good day. And that's a healthy mentality to have.
Thank you. More, Afonso? Faz assim que é para a senhora ver.
É que já foi respondida a pergunta.
Já foi, então agora arranjo outra.
My question was about what motivates you to always keep going and keep pushing harder and harder. When you're having a bad day or when you're tired, what's your motivation?
What do you think? Like, is there something like that goes through your head? Okay, like maybe you gained a process of recognizing what you can do if it's a low day.
When I was younger, I was not so good at this. Because I'm stubborn. So if it was a really bad day, I would fight it. And then you go down, 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 down. Usually you end up hurting something, or you sprain your ankle, or walk into something, you do something stupid. I got better at acknowledging, today is not my day. Of course, if you have to get up and do a performance, it's a different mentality. But if it's a normal working day, rehearsal and training, if it's not your day, it's not your day. I quit while I'm ahead. That's what we say in English. So it doesn't mean the day is a waste. But in your situations when you're training and you're with your teachers, communicate with your teachers. Say to them, I don't feel right today. Something's strange. Be open with them. They can help you through that. If your teacher says, shut up, keep going. Well, maybe it's the wrong teacher for you. There are days you have to push, but you have to learn sometimes when to say, today is not my day. And that's fine. We all have that. We all have those days.
And do you think it helps to set small goals?
Oh, yeah.
Like in those days, like, okay, so it was not a pirouette day, maybe I can just work on my arms or my dancing. Or...
Yeah, because you are a dancer. You're not a circus act. So if if there's a 3-hour show, an audience is not going to go away and just talk about that one pirouette that was good. Most of the audience don't even know what the pirouette is. They don't care. But you will throw away a whole performance because you did a bad pirouette, or you didn't balance, or you slipped on point. No one cares. You're an artist. You have to think of the whole picture. So if you're having a day where you feel like you can't stand up, focus on something else. There's so many elements to you as an artist.
Thank you. More questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Steve. Thank you so much for this wonderful talk. I'm not a dancer, I'm a spectator, so for me it's really, because that's the glamour of it in the stage. So I don't see the backstage, and it's very wonderful to see the human part of being excellent dancer. And once I was listening to you, after your injury, you talk about nutrition, you talk about the benefits of going to the gym or using everything that it was really there and sharing that with the younger students as we saw. Do you think this, your experience was a change in the younger students they are in the Royal School? Do you see this already through your experience, through this film? They want to show that it's so important, so many levels, to keep up with your age, that you said majority, you finish at 30, that's it, but still keep going, maybe now in a better shape or with a better stamina of what is to be a elite dancer?
My honest answer is no. I think there's a long way for the young dancers to go, because particularly in London, the young dancers, they know what's there, they know that there is a healthier, smarter way to work, but they're still not seeing enough role models of setting the example. And that's my biggest issue. If you're young and you look up to these people, you think, oh, I have to do the same. That's not the truth. You know, you are a human, number one, and you want to live a long, happy, healthy life. It's very difficult when you're 18 years old to explain that there's a life beyond this phase, but that is the truth. You know? That's why I'm listening to my medical advice now, saying, please don't do these next performances, because we want you not to have a knee replacement in 6 years' time. Let's think of long-term health. If you say that to an 18-year-old, they say, I'm fine. You need to think long-term all the time.
But this would also come not just from the students, right? Because the thing is that, as you say, they're like young and alone, some of them in London like you were. So it really needs to come from the whole environment, from the teachers, from the directors, from the medical team, because they're also dealing with adolescents. So they have to like feed them a little bit this culture so that then their mentality changes, right? Do you agree with that?
And we are lucky in London, our director is so supportive of all of this. He's the one driving this, he wants it to happen. But one person, one company cannot change the world.
Well, but one place at a time. I'm very proud of how the medical team is so present in the Royal Ballet. I mean, it's great that you also show, because we know, but we never see it. So now we saw it, so that's great. More?
Can you? Hello. Thank you so much. My question is, if any of your 3 kids would come to you and be like, Daddy, I want to be a dancer, will you encourage it? Or you'll be like, oh dear, let's look at another profession? And my second question is, you mentioned in the movie this fear of yours. Did I do enough or did I do too much? Did you figure out how to find that balance?
So I answered that part first. I think that's a struggle for every dancer, for every athlete, for every human, every single day. Did I do too much? Did I not do enough? Should I be doing more? Doing too much? It's a constant balancing act. But what this whole process has taught me, yes, it's a very lonely situation, because at the end of the day, when the curtain goes up, it's me stood there. No one's doing it for me, no one can hold my hand. It's me, I have to deliver. That's it, it's simple. But I can get to that point with a lot of support. You don't have to do it alone. And that's what really helped me, this process, knowing that I was not in it alone. When the curtain goes up, essentially I am alone. But to get to that point, it's a team, all the way. The first part, I still want a lot of changes to happen. Put it that way.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi.
I just wanted to know if you consider that the support you have with your fans' messages is helpful in your their work and in your routine, in your life, and your emotional intelligence. I don't know if that's correct, but I wanted to know if you think that your fans are a good support for you and for your job.
I mean, without the audience, there is no job. So the fans or supporters, for me, are the most important. Because otherwise, if there are not people, I can't share my art. And for me, it's about connecting with people. Dance is a language. Right? I can say nothing, but I can have a whole conversation with you on stage. That's amazing. So I think I even said it in the film. As long as one person in the theatre walks away feeling something has changed from that performance, then for me that's a success. So yeah, totally. The interaction, whether it's on stage or from receiving notes and messages and things, is very important.
I have a second question. If you think that the repertoire of Royal is for you balanced, and do you think the Royal should have more contemporary and modern repertoire? Thank you. Or more classical? I don't know. Do you think?
I think one of the main reason many dancers around the world want to go dance at the Royal Ballet is because of the repertoire. Because we have all the classics, we have the great Macmillan, Ashton, all of that, and of course now we have our new choreographers, well not new, they've been around for a long time, but McGregor and Wilden, and then of course whoever else comes in. For me that's the big attraction of why I've wanted to stay with the Royal Ballet all these years, because the repertoire is so diverse. I get to be, crazy psychopath prince. I then get to be the Mad Hatter. I get to be a creature in Frankenstein. I then get to be an 18th century prince. It's so extreme, the repertoire. And that's, I think, the greatest joy of the company.
So he wants to be the same, great as always. That's his...
And you consider you are a great actor? Then you consider you are a great actor? You have...
Do I think I'm a great actor?
No, he's saying that I can see that you're a great actor.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, anyone else? There, 1, 2, at least.
Hello, Stephen. First of all, I wanted to thank you for coming to Portugal and bringing us this film. I had an amazing experience watching it. And I wanted to know that you, as a professional dancer, have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like your body didn't fit the standards held in the dance world? And if you have, how did you overcome that?
So I was always told, you're too short, you're too ginger, you have bad feet, you're too loud, you're too Australian. I can write lists. Smile and wave. Okay, thank you. There will always be people that will want to critique you. It's an art form again, so someone will have an idea in their head what they want to see. And you're not going to fit what they want to see all the time. You could have 20 directors of companies lined up, and they will have 20 different views of what they would like their company to have. When you accept that, you take so much pressure off yourself. Maybe turn away from the mirror sometimes.
Yes, that's a good advice. Take the mirror away from you. That's the best you can do. Because sometimes it doesn't help. There was one more. Yes.
Hello. You said you changed your way of eating. So what kind of food did you eat during the rehab process?
Food.
Because the rest is not food.
Yeah, it was just a very different relationship with food before. For me, it was just, food was there to survive. Whatever would get me through that next rehearsal, whatever would get me through the next performance. I wasn't ever thinking of the next day, or the next week, or life longer. And that's when you start to go, you need to fuel yourself so that you always have something in the tank. I would finish performances and have nothing, and then go home and not refuel, and then wake up the next day and go again. It's so dangerous. I had to change my relationship with that. And it didn't help that when I was young, I'd just come to London and a comment was made about my physique. And my teachers in Australia never spoke about my body. You're a dancer, it's how you move. They never once mentioned anything about the body. And I was very young, alone, and I didn't have the support or education at the time of knowing what to do with that. I would hope that no teacher in this room would waste their energy doing that to a young person, because it's the most destructive thing you could ever do. It's now changed so much that I hope teachers are not saying things like that anymore. But I was not surrounded by an environment that I felt I could go and talk to somebody about that. Now, I've been in costume fittings recently, and somebody's put the costume on and gone, oh, we have to alter this. Oh, that's not okay. And I've gone and spoken to people about that and said, I'm not happy with that. Now, of course, I know that those comments are just a reflection on that person. And I now have the intelligence, the emotional maturity maybe, to acknowledge that. But how does a young 18-year-old who is hungry to fight and find their way in this profession, how do they deal with those sorts of comments? And that's not okay. That's what makes me angry.
But I also think, I'm sure, that what you meant about your diet was a lot about inflammation and the healing process as well, right? Because this was also why you were changing your diet. Not just because of body shape. It was a lot about health, mostly, right? And about the fact that you had to recuperate and you had to gain probably more muscle.
Yeah, and the reality is, I hear this comment all the time. I don't want my dancers to be in the gym because they're going to get bulky. People have no concept of how difficult it is to put on muscle mass. People say, I don't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're never going to look like him because it's impossible to look like him. You have to consume so much and train so much, no one in this room will ever come near him. It's fine. Your little ballerina can go to the gym. She's not going to look like a bodybuilder.
I also love when you said that, thank God I did that, because then I could just use my upper body to, because my legs were cramping. So this is also why you do it, it's not just because you feel that you have a way to, if this fails, I have this, and if this fails, I have that.
The sports scientist I work a lot in the film, his name is Gregor, and I've worked with him for 8 years now. And he always explains to people that the work in the gym is so that you have even more facility to access, so that when you are on stage, you never let the fuel tank go to zero because you've done so much extra work that you always have something left. And that's a very different mentality to getting to the end of an Act 3 ballet and you don't know if you're going to laugh or cry or go to the toilet. It's,
Yes,
and you can avoid feeling that way because you do this additional work.
So do I have any more questions? Yes. 1, 2. So this should be the last 2 questions.
Hello. I want to ask, how do you feel you change at the very same moment when you enter the stage in front of the audience? And how did that feeling change with the last events when you had to respond more to the needs of your body?
Sorry, can you just repeat the first part, maybe?
I wanted to ask how do you feel that you change that same moment when you step on stage in front of the audience?
Okay.
So the first performance back after the Achilles, I was obviously terrified. I had done a lot of work with the psychologist, but I think, going on stage thinking in a very critical way. People going to judge me. What will they think? They'll say I can't dance like I used to, blah, 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 blah. And when I step on the Opera House stage, the audience, sometimes they clap when you come on stage for your entrance. There's always like 3 people that are happy to see you. But this particular first night when I came on, the whole audience applauded, but it went on for a few minutes whilst I was running around on stage. And I just have never felt, in my head, I had never felt that warmth. I always felt like an alien in London. I was always the foreigner, not accepted fully as one of them. And that evening was the first time I felt, wow, this is my home stage. And that was, if all of the journey had to result in one thing, that was a big, powerful thing to realize that I did actually belong there.
And that the audience was there for you also. Probably a lot of people were supporting your first show. Yes, yes. So this is, I think there's one more question. Someone? There. And this should be the last.
So I would like to congrats for your film. And my question is, have you ever had like a bad comment or felt different for being a boy ballet, like a boy ballet dancer?
You mean just from public?
Yes.
Yeah? Show them the film. I think the problem is in life in general, we all make assumptions. We think we understand other people's lives. We have no idea. I have no idea what you're experiencing or you're experiencing. You know, my father's an auto electrician. And I don't know anything about what his challenges are, what his life is really like. And he can't comprehend what it's like to step on to the Royal Opera House stage and do a live cinema to millions of people. Yes. He can't comprehend that. But he doesn't make assumptions about it. He's happy that, okay, I don't understand everything, but I don't need to understand everything. And that's what I think people go wrong in life. You will get those people that will try to give you a hard time. My answer to a lot of that is, how old are you? 14. You have this passion for dance already at the age of 14. Those people wasting their time making comments to you will probably go through most of their whole life without ever discovering a single passion for anything. You've already discovered a passion. And that passion might change. You might find other things in life. But you've already experienced what that can feel like. So don't let those people take that away from you. That's the biggest thing you could ever do, is let them take your passion away. Don't do it. Let them rot away.
Yeah, that's the problem. Well, this was a good last question, I have to say, because it's good to remember that we are artists and passionate about art, regardless of our gender. So, thank you. I thank you all, and this was the last question. I thank you very, very much. I want to hug you. Steven still has to go. Yes, thank you. Steven still has to go to the airport with his family. And I thank you all for being here, and I hope you enjoyed. And I ask you to follow also our podcast, because there'll be more experiences and other dances.
We'll do a proper
and
talk.
we will do a proper talk with each other, so that it's also there. And thank you all once again. And thank you to the city, to the municipality of Sintra.
O episódio de hoje do Dança em Diálogos chega ao fim, trazendo mais uma perspectiva, mais um percurso, mais uma reflexão sobre a dança. Já sabem, estão todos convidados a seguir o podcast Dança em Diálogos nas nossas redes sociais, a partilhar os episódios e a deixar a vossa opinião ou sugestões para temas futuros. Para estar sempre informado sobre os novos episódios e atividades, podem subscrever o nosso canal no YouTube e no Spotify. Além disso, está disponível a nossa newsletter em diálogos.com, onde podem conhecer melhor a Dança em Diálogos e todos os seus projetos e dimensões. A Dança em Diálogos é uma plataforma de criação, produção e programação em dança, com um enfoque particular em projetos de mediação e participação de e com diferentes públicos e comunidades. No próximo episódio, vamos continuar, claro, com mais dança e mais diálogos. Eu sou a Solange Mel e espero voltar a estar convosco em breve.